Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Kathy, would you lead us?
Certainly. Ready, salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Always want somebody to sing the national anthem. Not me.
Roll call. Crokel, Mr. Director Crokel.
Present.
Director Hanson.
Here.
Director Allred here. Director Ballantyne.
Here.
Director Parker.
Here.
All here. No board members attending. Approve agenda.
So moved. Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It's unanimous. Community announcements and public comment. Items not on the agenda.
I have to speak of this because it's Zoom. They can't do it if you don't use the microphone. Oh, okay. My apologies. All of you know who I am. State your name though. Oh, for the record. Oh, sorry, I didn't know that. You know who I am, Dean Soest. And lately I've been having to fight with this airport about staying in Dave Van Hoy's hangar. And I've got to say a couple of little things here. One, why this is happening is totally inappropriate. I've been on this airport since 1978, and nobody's ever come at me like this. And I'm going to say right now, evidently you get Jim Ballantyne, do you have something you wish to say? Because you're.
Oh, I've been on the board 38 years.
I know how long you've been on
I'm very
board.
familiar with your MO, so go ahead.
Okay. Well, evidently you were smirking there, so evidently you think something was funny.
Well, you haven't seen me every day, so that's a false
No,
statement.
that's true. That's true. But the thing is that
Just let him speak.
you guys evidently have put a bullet on my back, and now you want me off this airport, and I don't know why. So I'm asking you one by one, why in the hell do you want me off this airport so bad? I have never done anything to this airport or on this airport to warrant this kind of treatment. You've put me out of business. I have no more business. I've had 2 potential customers call this airport, and all they've been told is Mr. Soest is no longer here, which is not true. So they went someplace else. I've lost business because of what's been going on. And now I'm basically out of business here on the airport. And I want to know why. Does anybody want to tell me why? I know why Kathy wants me out of here. So that's, Kathy, don't shake your head.
I don't understand you singling me out. I do not understand it.
Well, when you tried to run me over with your car
I
a few
did
weeks ago,
not.
you
No.
did too.
Kathy, it's public comment. Let him speak his piece.
Goodness.
Let him speak his piece.
And you badmouthed me to at least 3 different tenants on this airport.
You lie.
But I would like to know why you feel I have to be forcibly ejected off this airport. Has nobody got the guts to tell me the truth? I guess not. I guess nobody's got the guts. Nobody's breaking any laws. Nobody's done anything wrong. I've never done anything to bring a disgrace or dishonor to this airport. I've tried to promote it the best I could. I haven't worked the air races when they were here in 78 and 79. So at my own expense. I've done a lot of good here. But evidently somebody thinks I've done a lot of bad too, which I haven't. I would like an explanation why you feel I have to be ejected off this airport.
Mr. Sosa is the president. The only thing I can say is by everything that's gone on, and we've, as the board members, have all sat down and gone through this, all the matters have been faced and taken care of, all through our representatives and the CEO. And we rest our case on those facts.
Have you come to me and asked me about them?
That's not our position as a board.
If you have to make a decision about me, don't you think I have the right to know what's on your mind, sir? I don't know you personally.
I know everything's been hashed out.
Yeah, but you haven't gotten my side of it. So you made a one-sided decision based on slander, innuendo, and bullshit. Bring up something that, just tell me one thing.
Mr. Sost, as you know, there is the potential for litigation with this. And so the board members have to consider what they're going to do in closed session. So it's probably best if they not say anything before then, before they make a decision on how to proceed.
All I want to do is, you guys jumped the gun anyways. I was already in the process of moving off the airport, but I need to get my own personal aircraft now out. I have no customer aircraft here. So I've got the Air Coupe that's in Dave Van Hoy's hangar, and I got the Queen Air. Those are the last two airplanes. Once they're gone, I'm out of here permanently. But it's going to take a little bit more time. So nobody wants to talk to me. I guess this discussion is over. Thank you for your time.
Any more comments? Community comments?
Good afternoon, directors. We do have several community events that are coming up. We have a Job Fest, a Career Expo. Also want to remind everybody that the CHP volunteers are still doing their gun raffle to raise proceeds for their Chips for Kids toy drive. And also, I don't have the flyers now, but they will be presented on our next meeting, that the Kern County Animal Control will be doing a vaccination clinic here in Mojave in the beginning of October. So I'll have those flyers printed out for next week, and I'll let all of the tenants and local community know about that, because that will be the first time that Kern County has been out here in quite some time to provide that type of service. And that's it.
Ready? Thanks, Lynn. Any more public comments? We move on to consent agenda. Staff recommends approval of consent agenda by one motion. Minutes from the regular board meeting September 2nd and check registry dated September 10th.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those disapprove? The vote is unanimous for the consent agenda approval. All right, 4 action items. Employee handbook.
Good afternoon. As you know, from time to time, we update our employee handbook. I was working with our paychecks rep, because we service with them with HR, and they had several like leaves and laws to update in our employee handbook. So at this time, that's when I wanted to make some adjustments to the 2 things just to note that kind of impact us as far as the district. When it comes to leaves and laws, we don't necessarily have any control over those, is increasing, because right now we're in open enrollment for the employees and the directors for the health benefits, is to increase the premium allowance for all the employees. So then that way, at this time, they know what would be allowed when they're making their decision for their health benefits during open enrollment. And those changes would be impacted in October of this year. So they'll see the change immediately, but then also they'll be able to make an informed decision for open enrollment. And the changes are listed here on the staff memo. And then the other changes is on the comp time. Currently, right now in our employee handbook, we have it to where if employees accrue comp time, they have to use it by June 30th. But that really didn't make sense for people that accrued it in May. They would have to use it in the month. So this way they have to, if they accrue it, they have to use it within 12 months. We don't want people to keep it on their books until they retire, but we want at least to make them use it within a reasonable amount of time. So at the time we set up the policy, we really didn't think that process through. So at the time of making these changes, I just changed it to the 12 months versus at the end of the year.
So they just have an anniversary date then from then on?
It'll just from the time that they actually accrue it, yeah, that it goes on the books.
And that's not a burden on bookkeeping and all that.
No, because because we're a small team and there's not that many that do it. At the time, we did it June 30th to make it real cut and dry, but I feel as a benefit to the employees is to make it 12 months.
That's a benefit to us too for long-term, that we don't wind up owing somebody 10 years worth of
Yeah.
comp time when they retire and then they don't work for a year and get paid.
Yeah.
Burning
And
it up.
we have it capped out at 45 hours. They can't have more than 45 hours on the books.
It's good.
So
Gary, on the health insurance allowances, they're increasing 10%. Do you have a feel for how much that is overall cost per year for?
I did have it. It was, it impacts about $6,000 a pay period.
Okay.
So, I didn't bring those with, I did calculate them.
And do we generally budget for increased health insurance premiums?
I did, and because it kind of varies depending on our staff that we get, because we have turnover, because some employees we have don't even have the health insurance.
Right.
And because it's kind of unpredictable, if employees change their plans, we don't know, they may go to a cheaper plan. So there's always when we budget, we don't necessarily, it's not budgeted down to like the.
Sure, yeah.
So there's always that room for a little bit of a margin of this increase. I don't feel like this is gonna put us over budget in any means.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Do I hear I have a,
So we're just asking for the motion to adopt the resolution for the new employee handbook.
So moved. Second?
second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those that disapprove?
I'm sorry, was there any public
Oh, excuse me. Any public
Have to have
comment?
Public first.
No public comment? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those disapprove? Unanimous, carries unanimously. Launcher.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen of the board, good afternoon. This is basically just a renaming. So Vast Acquired Launcher wants to have us update the naming in their applicable leases.
Any public comment on this one?
Any thoughts from council on that? Just,
No, I think it's entirely appropriate.
okay,
Motion
Just a name
approved.
change, correct?
Vast is your tenant, so, yeah.
Motion to approve.
My apologies.
Have a second?
A second.
Have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those disapprove? The vote is unanimous. Carry on, let's see. Cambion. Acceptance
Yes, so Cambion is intending to consolidate their operations down south and will be eventually leaving Mojave Air and Spaceport, at least their building 86. So there is leftover property there that they would like to forfeit for the airport. Floyd has looked at it, thinks it's acceptable. It's got negligible value. Staff believes that we should support this long-term good tenant at basically no cost to the airport.
I went through the list.
is this something we can use or just something that's hauled off?
We think we can use at least some.
Yeah, like utility supplies and that kind of stuff. Couple chairs.
I kind of saw it, but it was on my phone, I didn't.
Yeah. All right, so we have a motion to approve the resolution. Okay, Al,
What are you talking about, Terry?
The Cambion
Yeah.
acceptance
Okay,
donation.
he got you.
Resolution, motion approved.
Make a motion?
So moved.
You have a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
All right.
Right.
Oh, I didn't ask for public. I gotta have public.
Public
Yeah, because
comment first.
we got online, I keep forgetting. I'm looking here,
Oh.
no public here, but yet there could be.
We have no public comment. All right, all those in favor?
All
Aye.
right.
All those disapprove? Vote carries unanimously. All right, D, resolution of mass support events.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen of the board, so this is a repeat event here through the Mojave Transportation Museum. Its annual indoor fun fly, previously known as the Fly-In. It's a good event. We have supported it before. Staff believes that the providing of the Stu Witt Center gratis is appropriate for this event.
Is there any public comment?
I have a question of
Yes.
Scott. Do I not vote on this because I'm with the Mojave Transportation Museum?
So are you on the board?
I'm the president.
Are you compensated?
No,
Okay, so then, you need to disqualify yourself,
okay,
based on a potential conflict of interest. This would be a remote interest under contractual conflict of interest law. Then you need to exit the room. while the rest of the board discusses it and takes action, and then you can come back in when.
I will exit the room, okay. And
Don't go too far.
yeah, I won't go too far.
Lynn, I seen something on this question that the rental was 1,250,000. Did you catch that?
There's a decimal there, but there's also an extra zero.
I know,
So it sure
I know.
looks like that.
I knew.
That's for the tax write-off. You
Uh-huh.
heard it, Terry.
God,
I can validate to the board that it will be less than that.
We don't make that kind of money on the event center.
Motion to approve resolution for mass supported event. Annual indoor fun fly.
Second.
do I still get to do the all in favor, or do I have to do a roll call?
Public comment.
Let's do public comment, and then you can do a voice vote.
Public comment? No public comment? Can we do a voice?
You
A
can.
director?
The minutes will reflect that Director Hance disqualified herself, and I'll work with Lynn on that.
Okay, so I can just go.
Yeah.
Just all those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
All those disapprove? So it's not a unanimous, or is it?
It is.
It is?
Kathy does not count towards the
Okay.
quorum or anything like that.
Gotcha.
Kathy? Yeah.
All righty. Kathy, back.
Oops.
Director of Operations?
Good afternoon. Unfortunately, in August of 2025, we did notice a significant drop in operations compared to 2024, 23, and 22. The most drops that we're seeing are in general aviation. We have noticed a decrease in general aviation over the past few months. I did go back and look at the wind. We did have 17 significantly windy days. In 2025, those are days where we had wind over 30 knots, which is usually not conducive to the lighter aircraft flying. Comparatively, we had 10 in 2023 and 13 in 2024. We are noticing that we are sustaining military operations. For instance, today we had multiple fighter jets as well as 4 naval helicopters that came into Mojave for food and gas. So we are seeing an uptick and continued growth over previous years for military operations. Last year in August, we had a huge military exercise with the Air Force, which is why those numbers were so high. We are continuing to find ways to figure out how to continue to attract general aviation to Mojave and keep that culture alive. It is something that we are watching very intently. And do you have any questions on those numbers?
Did the 860s all buy fuel?
They did buy fuel, yes, sir.
Good.
Hey, must be about a truckload.
I'm not sure exactly how much they purchased, but they did. All 4 of them bought fuel today.
Yay.
Awesome.
And wonderful people too. They were great, and they bought a lot of food from the restaurant. So the restaurant definitely got supported.
We'll
Good
hope
deal.
by end of October, operations will start to increase as general aviation will start to increase as a whole because of Mosaic taking effect on the 22nd of October.
Yes, we are very hopeful for general aviation, and that's one of the most difficult parts about my job is standing up here. Is we have some really awesome, great, exciting projects that are coming up and coming down the runway. Even as soon as this morning, we had some really awesome things out there. And I can't talk about them in a public forum. Because I want to tell you all these great things we're doing, and then it's, hey, our operations are down significantly in GA. But we do have some amazing projects and, big things coming out of Scaled, out of Strata Launch. These runways are being used. They are very busy. Unfortunately, when they are out, it's, one big, huge operation that doesn't reflect well in the numbers, but it is something that is very beneficial to the airport.
Scott, is there a way, board, due to the nature of these projects, that we can be informed as a board in closed session or something?
I do know that the district maintains a non-disclosure agreement with several of these companies. I don't know if that's
that
any options.
disclosure, so.
Oh, wait, Scott is looking at me. I'm going to say no.
So it would probably depend on the nature of the event. Right, for some, you could probably go into, like if you're doing a lease or license agreement,
Mhm.
you could, as part of the negotiations, if you wanted to know the type of operations that were occurring in order to determine if you wanted to do the lease or license, you could discuss that.
We don't typically ask those questions when we're doing leases, though.
Sometimes
Well,
you do,
yeah,
sometimes
in
you don't.
general.
I mean, we always make sure it's aeronautically
Yeah,
related or
exactly.
fits within the airport's land use plan.
Right.
So there are things that we do discuss. In general, could you be briefed in closed session as part of a Brown Act meeting? Probably not.
Yeah.
The
Well, if
closest,
there's a non-disclosure on it, yeah. Okay.
Any other questions?
If I may, there's a broken Navy helicopter out there right now. The crew of 3 is being well cared for by the ops staff, and they are singing praise of the ops team specifically to me. So it's wonderful to see that here we have 3, quote, stranded aviators, members of our United States Navy, that have taken the time to seek out the CEO and say that that young lady and her personnel knock it out of the park. And that's why they are repeat customers here, repeat buying fuel, repeat and staying and coming up here for lunch.
Where are they
That's
from?
awesome.
Fallon,
Oh, okay.
Golly, really?
They're out of Fallon?
I believe so. At
Wow.
least that's where their parts coming from.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Ariel.
Of course,
Great
thank
job.
you.
Yeah, lay back here. Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Smith.
Yes, I'm looking forward to giving you some updates here. Tour program, basically on hold. Here's why. If we really believe that we're going to have considerable customers coming out here to see Mojave Air and Spaceport. To do that effectively, right now we sit on a 14 PAX van that is not ADA compliant. So to get an ADA compliant vehicle up here for a tour program, so we don't wind up in an associated ADA litigation of some kind, it's considerable proceeds. So I'm doing some beating of the bushes with unique business proposals between Kern County Transit and Antelope Valley Transit Authority. I've had 2 telecons now with Antelope Valley Transit Authority looking at the idea of what ifs. you know, and they have offered an association with this that maybe, since they used to provide transportation to Mojave, maybe it's time to revisit that, bring transportation to Mojave. And when one of their buses is here, we roll that into a tour program of some kind. So we're looking at where's the art of the possible here. What I'm not excited about is spending tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars on a bus for a tour program that's unproven right now. We think it would do well, but in fact, it's unproven. And to get a used compliant bus is not inexpensive. And when speaking to the Antelope Valley Transit Authority, they highlighted out that now the days of $500,000 buses are long gone. Their new buses they're buying from BYD are 1.3 million.
Are they all electric?
They are.
We don't need new.
That could be something you could possibly talk to a school district about.
So I think that's another great way forward. We do have some conflict there in that when we were projecting running the tours, it was right when the schools would be transitioning. So we have the flexibility of moving them around. We were looking at probably 1 to 2 days during the week and then Saturdays, and making sure that on Plain Crazy Saturdays, we sync up with Plain Crazy. So we could bring customers from there. Frankly, we were looking at charging for this. We haven't run any hard numbers, but looking at about $20 a person. And in talking to just people at places like Antelope Valley Economic Growth Development Enterprise, AV Edge, they're saying $20 a head is nothing. You know, they all travel, they go places, and wherever they go, if they want to go on a tour, they're crossing somebody's palm with silver. You don't do anything almost for free other than some government agencies.
Is this something we could do like on a rental basis with the
So we're
companies, you know, for?
Well, we're looking at that. We're looking at a lot of creative ways. Providing drivers becomes of concern because they need more than the Class A license since they're transporting passengers. And there are 2 places in Southern California that does training for that. That training event to include the associated travel and per diem and lodging would be about $6,000 per person.
There again, partner with the school district
There we
possibly.
go.
We have in-house trainers. We train our own staff.
Oh, we do?
We do.
Okay. Refreshing knowledge. And we've got a great relationship with the business there. What I'd love to be able to do is figure out a way to say, have a bus from X, school district, Kern, Antelope Valley Transit Authority, that our driver could run around and execute a 90-minute tour, leave customers with a much more broad experience of Mojave and Spaceport that could continue to tell our story and keep that fire burning downtown. So that's the end state. The near term bog down is frankly the fiscal involvement. But great idea, and I'll pursue the school system with their teammates doing that.
Yeah, maybe they could provide the vehicle and a driver.
And just an FYI on the $20 charge, I think I paid $65 at Canaveral for my 90-minute tour in a bus, and it rained profusely and couldn't see a thing. But it was still worth it.
Well, good data.
Right.
So more to follow on the tour program. Huge compliments to Chris and Nicole that are working that very aggressively. They're really running with that ball and they're doing a good job.
I think it would be highly successful. I just happened to catch a YouTube video of a guy that does them out of somewhere, San Bernardino, that flew up here. And he did comment that we don't offer tours. And I think it could get out there pretty fast.
I think it could too. And, you know, with the big driver behind this program is, I believe the community impact would be huge. I believe the business case involvement has the potential of being huge as we spread what we are out there. There's a lot of people don't know that this gem in the desert exists. But the real initial driver was to free up aerial staff. The number of 1v1 requests she gets for tours is unsustainable. We can't keep pulling people off of ops duty to run another KLM pilot out to see their old 747. I mean, we try very hard to accommodate these one-on-ones, but they become very quickly unsustainable. And we're saying no more than we're saying yes now.
And Kern County Transportation can't provide a bus and a driver, for, how many tours would you run a day? Just one?
Probably one twice during the week, and then one on Saturdays.
I think it would be just a demand issue. You start out small, and
Right.
if you're booked up every single week, then you expand on
Yeah.
that.
So frankly, Kern County Transit, with initial discussion, was not excited about supporting this. It's an old story. We have limited buses, we have limited drivers, we have limited scheduling opportunities. We just don't know that we could sign on and really support this. If we're gonna do this, my direction is we build a sustainable, supportable program.
Yeah.
We can't have this, especially if we're looking at marketing it aggressively, as something that might happen on some days. There has to be a battle rhythm here and really disciplined. So that's the update on the tour program. It's not gone. I love the idea. We'll talk to the school board to see where we can go with that.
Scheduling might work out for that because, we're busy in the morning, we're busy in the afternoon. A lot of our bus drivers become maintenance workers in between those hours so we can keep them all full time. So they do double duties, so they're not just split shifting all the time. So something like this may fill some of those dead hours as well.
Sure.
And I'm sure you could get the Southern Kern district too might be. They do the same,
Interested, yeah.
they do exactly the same thing with their drivers over the years.
We found it's much easier to sustain drivers and keep them on payroll by letting them work an 8-hour shift, and they have no problem working maintenance half a day and driving bus the other half a day.
Wonderful ideas. We'll pursue them. We'll have more for the board.
Should have rather drive out here than
Yeah,
clean tables or.
I get a kick out of driving around the airport.
Yeah.
And then I know at the Cape, the staff that do all the announcing and talking about what goes on out there are all volunteers. Like Mojave Transportation Museum, they would provide a person that would actually give the tour while the driver drives.
So, and we had talked about that with Mojave Transportation Museum. They believed that they would have a few people that we could train up as docents that would be happy to take burdens off the staff. The very rough pencil sketch of this would be people would assemble here at 58, would come in, watch a 5-minute sizzle reel of Mojave, get a brief welcome, ideally from myself, go out and do the drive around, come back in here for a bio break and an opportunity to hit the gift shop.
Exactly.
And then they're on the way. Right?
Yeah.
And we've got them all excited and working. And so more to follow on that. ITEA, in my opinion, was an absolutely huge win for Mojave Air and Spaceport. So a 2-day event, Stewart Center, 150 roughly if you include the vendors and the staff from ITEA that were there, test and evaluation professionals from all over the world out here.
I heard it was fabulous. Yeah.
I was absolutely impressed. I would offer here as the compliment of compliments. When they got together with me at the debrief for the event, and they said, we're supposed to be back on track to go back to Vegas next year. The people attending here want to know why they can't just come back to Mojave. Why would we go to Vegas? So apparently we're more popular than Las Vegas.
Good.
Cheaper too.
A lot cheaper, a lot closer. And since the majority of those people in attendance are engineer program manager types, most of them aren't the biggest gamblers in the world. They probably know the numbers, so they're not drawn to that.
But this is so wonderful because it brings potential tenants
Oh, absolutely, and I can't tell you how many people in that room.
Yeah,
From vendors to the attendees were saying we had absolutely
no idea. I know.
We knew you were a runway. We knew you had a test pilot school there. We knew you did something with test, but
And they didn't get a tour, or did they?
they did. I took them out in the afternoon. We took 13 of them. Might have actually been 14. The bus was pretty crowded, the van. And, things like, what did they really want to stop and see? They wanted to really stop and see the boneyard. They really wanted to stop and see Strato. They
Yeah.
really wanted to drive up and down the runway and see the general aviation side of things.
Mhm.
Most of the hangars were closed. They really love seeing the rocket test stands.
Yeah,
I mean, stopping and pointing out that VAST has what will be the new space station
right.
sitting in a gantry out there, at least an exact replica.
Sure.
And then of course the boneyard was kind of the capstone event, and they were so totally impressed. And there's a lot of decision makers in the room. Military wise, we had the Vice Center Commander for Air Force Test Center speak. We had Admiral Haas from NOC WD speak. These people were thoroughly impressed with Mojave Air and Spaceport. So the Air and Spaceport did a specific breakout session that was extremely well attended. I would say probably there were 2 sessions at the same time. One in what we call the green room, one in the main ballroom of Stu Witt Center. Probably 10% went off to the green room for the technical session. Roughly 90% stayed in the ballroom for a session that Ariel kicked off with a very broad brush of operations at Mojave. And then kind of like the funnel working down. Then National Test Pilot School came and briefed on what they do and how they integrate at Mojave. And then a flight test engineer from National Test Pilot School briefed specifically on some telemetry techniques that they're developing at NTPS using Starlink for potential deployment. And then one of our Northrop Grumman pilots came and briefed on specifically now being a test pilot at Mojave, flying on a day-to-day basis in support of multiple programs.
Mm-hmm.
To a person that I talked to, they said that that was the best session of the entire program. Just learning about Mojave.
Mm-hmm.
So very, very well done. They were also as kind as they could be to staff here. So they bought extra food and they fed all our staff for the meals. Could all come by and grab something.
Erica called me. Girls Gone Wild did the catering for it. And she called me a couple of times and said it was just a fabulous turnout. And she said the people were so neat. She just really enjoyed them.
It was a wonderful thing. If they are coming back in a year or so, we'll discuss with the board options. We were a rescue ranger on this one.
Mm-hmm.
This event would not have happened because of DOD's restricted travel policy.
Right.
Actually, it's federal government, not DOD. We had a lot of NASA people here, FAA people, et cetera. But if they're coming back here fully funding this thing, then I think the board's decision becomes, well, they'd be renting a hotel in Las Vegas. So maybe they pay the standard rack rate for Stu Witt Center if they come back here as even though they're a nonprofit, if this is a profit-making event for the nonprofit, we have a duty to the district to appropriately represent that.
Sure.
Right. And we'll see what we do. We'll come back to the board with that, but truly remarkable event. Current Economic Alliance met with the Economic Alliance out at Pacific Steel last week. That's gone up to a $1 billion project. If you're going towards Rosemont and you look towards the west, where you see a bunch of cranes
You can't
and
miss
metal
it.
infrastructure, it's big.
Yeah.
And when you're out there walking the dirt, it's really big. So they're looking at going up to 400 employees. They make rebarb, mostly out of shredded old wrecked vehicles or derelict vehicles. They're very proud of their business case. They believe that they do rent space here right now in Building 1. So they have some office space while they're in construction. Raising this economic floor raises the community of Mojave, raises Mojave here in Spaceport. So I think we're going to see that largely with them, and then the next step will be the Hydrostore facility, also closer to Roseman, but Pacific Steel is in Mojave. So that was a strong event, followed by the whole Economic Alliance came here, and we didn't have enough chairs for them all in this room.
Wow.
They haven't sold out a room when they get together in Bakersfield, but they all wanted to come to Mojave. So they did well, had their hosted meal over in Voyager, and then slid back here for their business meeting. A lot of exciting things going on at the current Economic Alliance. That was followed that evening, made for a very long day, by current EDC's, annual dinner, which was in Bakersfield. So from here, I rode to Bakersfield for the annual dinner and then got back home and was back here at 6 a.m. the next day. So interesting, quick turn. But a wonderful annual event at a private property out in Bakersfield that once again had us tied very close into the East Kern community. They see the value of Mojave, and that does not fall on deaf ears out there. And then Saracosa had a meeting with the Saracosa people, accompanied by somebody many of you know, Stu Witt. They are looking at, under their aviation technology programs, they're trying to really speed up, offering an A&P program and numerous other certificates and licensing programs. Their problem was wrestling with, is Saracosa up in Ridgecrest the right place to do that? Will we really get throughput and capacity? Will we really be able to draw off of Antelope Valley College partnerships and get people up to Ridgecrest from Palmdale and Lancaster? Probably not, but we could get them here.
Right.
So we're looking at some fairly creative proposals. Saracosa thinking that they could possibly get a grant for a facility here through Jobs First, since this is a directly jobs training program, and build their own small campus, utilize partnership agreements with many of our current mission partners for space, assets, availability, training, exposure, and develop a multi-pronged program here. It's focused around A&P, but it's not just an A&P program. There's also aircraft structural construction. There's numerous vectors that all relate to aviation. The idea, some of these people might go get a job doing production work at someplace like Mach 42. Some of these people might get hired by Scaled Composites right here on the production side. Some of them become A&Ps with their applicable certification, and they become saleable all over the country. So that was an interesting session we had with them. We have a follow-on coming up, as there's a company that is doing space system professional training and development. Now, they are a for-profit firm, but often their, quote, profit comes from grants as well. And they're looking at seeing if they could partner with this program and have a space-based curriculum. With the increase in access to space and space-based systems, this is growing rampantly. Companies in Southern California, which has really become the hub of aerospace involvement, as it's frankly always been, are desperate for people. And this would be a source of human capital for them here at Mojave. So a lot of exciting things going on, a lot of busy things going on. Do have travel coming up next week. back to airspace and cyberspace in DC. But that's probably, in my opinion, the best opportunity to deal with the major players in aviation on the fixed wing side, to be followed by space conferences coming up to look at the space-based side. And we are also in preliminary negotiations with SpaceX to partner with them on vertical launch as a proposal here. So you may have heard on the news, SpaceX had 50% of the proposed launches in California disapproved by the Coastal Commission.
Yeah.
So they were very receptive to the call, saying, hey, can we maybe scratch your itch? So anyhow, subject to your questions, board members.
Just a comment, we were, when Stu Witt was the CEO, we had the opportunity to go to SpaceX and meet Elon Musk. And I remember going up to him and saying, you know, you really should be at Mojave. He says, I know I should, but he says, I can't give up my 13 acres under one roof underground here. And I understand that. It was an old airplane manufacturing plant where he is. But I said, you still belong at Mojave. Well, unknown to me, he was visiting Bert Rattan all the time. And he and Bert were talking, and he was here at Mojave very often. So that would be cool to have them here. He's a little odd, but he is a genius.
So when you mentioned Rutan, it did remind me of something. It is not on my formal report, but
Dick.
I will be at Dick's interment at Arlington. I think it was very appropriate that Mojave and Spaceport be
Absolutely.
represented there.
October 1st. Yeah.
All right, with that, any further questions?
Well, I had one on the Cerro Coso thing.
Mhm.
Because Cerro Coso, don't they have class of Mojave Unified School District in Cal City and Mojave?
We
Already have
we
classes.
dual enrollment with them, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we have an A&P program at California
That's
City
what I thought.
High School. We have all the facilities, tools, everything for it. And
That's-
this year we have 19 students on track to graduate with AAs.
That's wonderful.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
We
You
had
know-
17 last year.
So we ought to be able to integrate that in.
Yeah.
And that's a savings of about $70,000 per family.
Yeah.
And times that times 19, we're up in the $1 million range of savings to local families for college tuition.
Do you remember the days where you used to learn that stuff from your dad and your grandpa? And I think about my dad, who quit school when he was 10, for crying out loud, because he had to work on a farm. And that's where he got his education, and that's where he learned to do things. And then went to a trade school in Kansas City and learned to work on airplane instruments. Got a job at Wright Field in 1936. It was then called the War Department. But I remember my brothers learning from my dad, and my son learned from his dad and his grandpa. And he's an A&P, but he didn't go to any school. He grew up with it and complained about it all I'll ever be is an airplane mechanic. And I said, would you look at the airplanes you're working on? I mean, Corsairs and P-51s and B-17s. And it was just wonderful. I have pictures of him when he was 3 carrying a fuselage with grandpa. But kids don't do that anymore. They're always on their phones and computers and stuff. And so it's wonderful to have it at school and learn how to use hand tools and how to do that sort of thing. Yeah, but it used to be learned at home.
Any other? Guess we're continuing on board.
Okay.
Item C, we don't have any board committees. We're moving to what section of them?
Item 6.
Yeah, be sure to ask for board comments and items not on the agenda, bottom of page 1.
Board comments.
Oh.
I have a comment.
Oh, okay.
Plane
Oh.
Crazy Saturday is this Saturday.
Oh, I see it now. I missed it. Sorry.
And our speaker is Greg Morris, who is the president of Scaled Composites. And he's just going to give us kind of an overview of what Scale's doing. And he is actually one of their test pilots as well. I saw him taxi out in Aries, and it was Dan Craig happened to be sitting at the table, and he says, Greg's flying Aries today, but flying Chase for something. And also White Knight was, no, it was Proteus was out on the runway doing some tests, and everything was done on the ground for some reason. I don't know what they were doing. They do a lot of things that they don't talk about, and he, of course, will not divulge any of their secrets, but there are some exciting things going on at Scale Composites. So I think it'll be a great presentation. And you have to listen real fast when Greg talks, because he talks at 90 miles an hour. But be here Saturday at 11 a.m.
Thanks, Kathy. Any other comments? I don't know how I missed that. How could I miss that? Item 7, closed session. We have to
Recording
move on to
stopped.
close-
The board want me to stay?
Please.
I don't know if I can.